Bears fans, welcome back and beard down. I'm going to start saying beard down because of Matt Eberflus's beard. I've got a beard. He's got a beard. He's my new hero. Now we'll stick with bear down. So bear down. Hope your day is starting off right. I'm going to talk a little bit today about the salary cap and about free agency. I know we've beat this like a dead horse, so I'm going to go through this one fairly quick. It's going to be a quick podcast today, but I think you need to hear it because everyone's got this false narrative. And I know you guys know that, but I watched NFL Stock Exchange yesterday, and it kind of just sat with me how they don't really have a clear picture of what this team's needs are. And we've gone through it a couple times, so I'm going to go through it quick. But this is what I saw yesterday. I've highlighted at the bottom what our true team needs are, but they said our team needs are number one quarterback, then wide receiver, center, defensive line, and cornerback. Now, I can agree to some extent what those are, but the only reason people are saying we need quarterback is because we have the number one overall pick. And you guys all know this. You guys are familiar. We're kind of on the same wavelength here. But the reality is if we didn't have that number one overall pick, it wouldn't even be a question of whether we needed a quarterback or not. We know Justin Fields has done a very good job, that he's improving every year, that even Shane Waldron in the press conference talked about him and how well he's done and what we have a foundation of. We know that Ryan Poles has talked about that foundation. We know that Kevin Warren has talked about him. That's not a true team need. So I'm going to scratch that one completely off the list. They've got wide receiver and center backed up. We have number one wide receiver, so I don't think that's our primary need. I do think it's going to be our top pick because you don't take a center first in the draft. So wide receiver is number two need, but our center, we don't even have a center on the team right now. We don't have a single center, and we need a true center. And I've said this in other places. I'm going to say it right here. I think there's a couple of generational talents in this draft, and one of them is Jackson Powers Johnson. And I really think we need to do everything we can to go get him because I haven't seen anybody, as I've done my research, I've gone back 7 years now. I haven't found a single player that has allowed one sack, hit, or hurry, and his was only a hurry, the entire season. And then I go back to his sophomore season where he was playing guard, and at the guard position, he only allowed 3 the entire year. It was one sack, hit, or hurry in every 120-something snaps. He's special. I really, really like Jackson Powers Johnson. So this is how I have the order of it. Center's our primary need, then wide receiver, then free safety, then tight end because of Shane Waldron's 12 personnel sets and how he's so efficient with his scheme plays that he calls. Then cornerback, then another wide receiver, then a guard. We're getting into depth now, then edge, tackle, and defensive line. All right, so I've done this on other pictures. I'm just reinforcing. These are our premium picks. We only have 3. So they mentioned that on the Stock Exchange show that after our first 2 picks, we don't have a pick till 75. So how do people not realize how valuable this draft is with how deep this class is at certain positions for us to trade down? And we've already talked about it. We're not going to beat a dead horse, but if we can trade down 1 and then again at 9 down to like 15, 16, even 13, 14, if Poles wants to be conservative and just trade down to like 13 and still pick Jackson Powers Johnson, I'm totally fine with that. Get a couple extra picks somewhere. But we can alleviate some of these through free agency. And that's going to be the neat thing that we come across here is right after we get done talking about the combine and we do the analysis on that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually really excited to share some things as we go through it. I'll try to do some stuff right during the combine and give some updates, and hopefully they get RAS scores out fairly quickly because we know how Ryan Poles likes his RAS scores, that we can get straight to free agency, and some of these things are going to be alleviated. Jalen Johnson can be tagged at any time. I think they're really trying to finish that deal up with him. If not, he's going to be tagged. So either way, I think that is alleviated. But there's some people in free agency that I kind of want to target here real quick. We're going to make it a quick video this morning. But to go over the salary cap real quick, right now we're sitting at between $66 million and $70 million. And if you look at that cap space, $19 million for Jalen Johnson, $16 million for the rookie class, that takes 35. We've only got $31 million-ish, $31 to $33 million to work with. That's not a lot of cap space, which is more reason why we have to, like we've talked about before, move some of those draft picks down to build some capital for premium picks. Yeah, we have some 4th rounders. We have a 5th rounder. We have 2 4ths and a 5th rounder. But those aren't the premium picks where you get value positions for starters. And so we already talked about this in the other video. We could trade down with the Commanders. We can trade down with the Seahawks, and this is a scenario where that would happen. We could also trade down with the Raiders, and yeah, we'll be out of the Marvin Harrison Jr. position, but look at all that premium capital. So there's a lot we can do, But we can't be sitting here pat at 1-9 and taking Caleb Williams with the first overall pick. It just doesn't work for this rebuild in the way that Ryan Poles does things. All right, so here's some offensive players I've kind of highlighted that we might target in free agency. And pause this if you want, but I see a couple of areas that we could target: center, wide receiver, and tight end. We could still hit some of these things in the draft as well. We could still pick up a wide receiver in free agency and then pick up another one in the draft. We could pick up a center in free agency and still pick up one in the draft. If we do a high-end center, I don't see us going after Jackson Powers-Johnson. So if we go after a lower-end center like Aaron Brewer or Evan Neal, that's when I would see we'd really target Zach Frazier or Jackson Powers-Johnson. Same with tight end, Hunter Henry, Noah Fant, Mercedes Lewis. We could just re-sign to have our third option and blocking tight end. Same with Adam Troutman. He's kind of as similar as Mercedes Lewis, is a good blocker, younger, but Mercedes Lewis did well for us last year. He already knows this team. I don't know if they're stuck on that anyways. So there's 4 tight ends at the bottom. For centers, you've got your higher value ones at the top, your lower value ones at the bottom, and the same with wide receivers. You know, we could re-sign Darnell Mooney. That could happen. He's got it in him to do some well. I think if we really draft a high X receiver, it can give him a more defined role as that 3-4 receiver, not put so much pressure on him. It might make things free up for him. He can play loose again. A lot of options we have. So there's the offense. On defense, here's some key positions that we might go after. I really don't see us going after edge, though, guys. With only $31 million left, and we have to get a center for sure and probably a wide receiver and then a defensive interior. I don't see us really drafting one this year. Yeah, maybe if it falls to the right place, it's, finding the best player available. So these are some that I kind of targeted, but, we can't get multiple high-level guys. So if we sign someone like Xavier McKinney, that's going to take right there, $13 million for one player for that year. So out of that 31 left, you get a safety, a wide receiver, and a center, and we're kind of eating up that cap space. So getting an edge, they talked about in the press conference getting a strong defensive line, so it's something I think could happen, but who are they going to go after when we do that? Are we going to spend $15-16 million? Are we going to spend $8 million? What are we going to do? But there's some options, so you can check this out. There's some good options for us, but I really see this being the need order for us. I don't see quarterback, then wide receiver, center, defensive line, cornerback. It's not how I see it. I don't know why they didn't list free safety on here. We have to have a free safety. Elijah Hicks is not. You look at his PFF grade. You look at the way he played at the end of last year. Sure, he's a fine depth piece, and he's played some big plays at certain times, but he's really a liability. Not a great tackler. Really not great in coverage. We have to have a strong free safety to shore up that defense. This defense is stacked and really building to be a nice defense, and we've got to keep that up to be able to put the pressure on teams. So this is what I think is really where we're headed as we head into free agency after the combine. I don't think they knew what they were talking about, which is kind of sad because Brad Spielberger is a Bears fan, but, just like most Bears analysts and fans right now, well, not fans, most Bears analysts, people who are speaking on it, they don't really have a touch with reality and what's going on with this team right now. I don't understand how they're not following Eberflus and what he's doing, following what the team's needs are in this cap space. I really don't think people are out there understanding the cap space and the free agent moves and the lack of draft positions that we have. Because to get quality draft picks, we can't sit pat at 1, 9, and then all the way back to 75 with this draft class. Yeah, we can get 2 blue chip talents, but just trading down once or twice, trading down to number 2, getting at least 1 second rounder, trading down from 9 to 13 or 14 or 15 or 16, and then getting another second rounder, a third rounder. That gives us so much flexibility to be able to build this team's needs. That's just how I see it, and I don't see anything coming off of that for me. I don't see us drafting a quarterback. I really don't. So hopefully this starts your day off right. Hopefully you guys have a great Friday, great start to your weekend. There is going to be the podcast with Swifty tonight, our draft podcast. So it's going to be on his channel. Please check it out when you get a chance. If you haven't subscribed by now, please do so. If you haven't hit the like button, I appreciate when you do. And until next time, have a great weekend and bear down.